Version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. Come on into the conversation. I am multicasting on several platforms, so you could be watching on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn or Twitter, on whatever platform you're watching. We want to welcome you to the conversation. Now, if you're new to the conversation, I know you're going to like something, so please like it for real and then share it, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. And if you are returning to the conversation, thank you for your support and for your being a follower and subscriber. Now, it's graduation time throughout the United States, and many graduates are celebrating milestones and trying to determine what their next move in life will look like. Now, I was surprised to find that in Dallas, Texas, high schoolers who graduate from Dallas ISD, that's the independent school district in Dallas, Texas, half of them don't go to college. Now, some skip college because they don't have any scholarships, nor do they have money to foot the bill. Now, others opt to enlist in the military. And last week, I told you that many people who choose the military are doing so to avoid student loan debt. So they take the military option thinking the military will pay for college. So if you didn't already see that video, then be sure to check that out. I think I named it "Is the Military Trying to Reinstate the Draft?" And so some high school graduates who don't go to college and they don't go to the military, some just go straight to a job. Still, many parents push their children to go to college to get that degree, to get that corporate job. And corporate headhunters, well, they would rather hire someone with an Ivy League degree. And that's one of the reasons why families get stressed out over which college are their children attending, who's admitting whom. That's the stress of it all. Now, Ivy League people would at least they have the rest of us thinking that the education is better at Ivy Leagues. They have us thinking that the experience is so much better at an Ivy League college or university, and that is just so much more enriching than matriculating at, say, a public university or an HBCU, historically Black college and university. And lots of people buy into that. Many of you think proximity to white people is just better. No matter what it is, you think it's just better, some of y'all. Now, one of the reasons that you think so is because mainstream media perpetuates that stereotype by doing these articles about they rank the colleges and who's better at this and what you can get from there. And so a lot of us, we buy into that. And so the only reason that most Ivy League colleges admit non-white people to begin with is because of the affirmative action programs that mandated them to do so. And now that the Supreme Court is likely to lift affirmative action mandates, we'll see just how much effort will go into recruiting non-white people to Ivy League universities. Now, the reality is it doesn't matter to Ivy Leaguers how smart we are or what our status is in the community if they can't reap immediate rewards from our labor on a playing field somewhere, or by us doing something extraordinary in the classroom somehow. They place little to no value in us, and there's nothing new about that. Now, whether or not affirmative action programs exist for college admission, Ivy Leaguers have always admitted people based on their preferences, the Ivy League's preferences. And I'm going to tell you what that is. If you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. Now, the first preference, and if you want to chime in on the conversation, do so, and I'll be looking out at the chat. Most of the time, I don't even look at the chat because I just go through what I'm saying. But I have it up, and if you want to chat about it, I'll be sure to voice your comments. Now, if you went to an Ivy League, or you have children going to Ivy League, or you are like one of those people stressing out, I do want to hear from you on that. But as I was saying, Ivy Leaguers, they always have admitted people to the universities based on their own special preferences. The first admission preference is it goes to legacies. That's children of graduates of that Ivy League university, mostly white people. The second preference goes to children of faculty, mostly white people. And the third preference goes to scholarship athletes. Now, you might be saying to yourself, there you go. That's where Black people get through. They go through the athlete classification. But we're not talking about sports that Black athletes usually play. We're talking about volleyball, soccer, the rowing team, tennis, sports like that. Now, remember the college admission scandal where parents paid to get their children's college acceptance bios doctored up with lies, basically, about being exceptional athletes to get admitted to Ivy League colleges. Remember that like 3 years ago, 5 years ago. They even went as far as to fake pictures of the people in uniform practicing or posing and stuff. And if you notice, none of those were Black people. Okay. So those were white people who played crew, who played soccer, who played croquet, all these things that mostly Black people don't play. Okay, so 90% of the student athletes at Ivy League universities are white people. So there's always been those preferences, those three preferences where they and really had nothing ever to do with how smart you were at the Ivy League universities. I mean, I guess they assume that if you are the child of a legacy graduate, if you are the child of a faculty member, and if you are an athlete, if somehow, then you must be smart. But that they never really put emphasis on that. They just did their own preference. Okay. And it's your school and that's what y'all want to do over there. I wasn't trying to go there anyway. So anyway, there have always will be, though, a few of us who get accepted to Ivy League universities because of how they see that they can exploit that individual. But instead of stressing and jumping through hoops to get admitted to a college that doesn't want you to begin with, and then you get a degree and a career where you don't even earn enough money to pay your student loan bill and your rent and the car loan in the same paycheck. Those kids who opted to learn a trade and didn't go to college at all might end up being in the best situation 10 years from now. So why do I say that? Okay, so I got something from Laverne. Laverne Adekunle out of Nashville says some pay more than they earn. And she says, clarification, some degree holders do not earn what it costs for the paper. And that's what I just said. You end up getting in student loan debt to get a degree, to get a job that doesn't even pay you enough to pay off that student loan. And I'm one of those people. I'm not down on education at all. I have 2 degrees, bachelor's in mass communication from Tennessee State University, and I have a master's in journalism and public affairs from American University in Washington, D.C. And so I was one of those people who got student loans, and when it came time to pay back, I was like trying to what is that term? Rob Peter to pay Paul to keep up with the bill. And so, yeah. So thanks, Laverne, for that. So if you haven't already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe so that when I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. And I see everybody else putting up their Cash App handle on their stuff. So I'm putting up my Cash App handle. on my video. So if you want to bless me or with, a little bit of change, do something strange for a little bit of change. No, I'm just playing. But if you want to, that's my cash app just in case you want to bless me with something. Anyway, back to the story. Now, here's what is so interesting about all these people who are ending up going to college and getting degrees, and they think they have to go to an Ivy League university. Um, your job in the next 10 years, if it can be taken over by artificial intelligence, they're going to downsize your position anyway. So it doesn't even matter where you get that degree from, because if artificial intelligence can do it, best believe they're going to figure out a way to expense it, to downsize what it is that you do, and they're going to let artificial intelligence do it. Because when artificial intelligence takes over, and that's not to, and maybe that's the wrong term, it's not taking over, but it is going to reduce expenses. It's going to reduce healthcare costs. It's going to reduce labor costs. And so why wouldn't a business owner take on more artificial intelligence in their company if it's going to cost them less to do the work and they get paid more, so they get more profit and less expense? That's just common sense. So it doesn't even matter what college your degree comes from, because if it can be done by artificial intelligence, you need to be rethinking what you're doing. Now, when the state of Texas realized that half of their high school graduates are not going to college, it started a statewide program called CTE program. It's called Career Training Education. That program exposes high schoolers to certain vocations that will teach them a trade, so that when they graduate from high school, if they opt to go straight to work, they will make a living wage in an industry that's in high demand. Now, one of those trades is UAV drone technology. It's one of the fastest growing sectors of the STEM industry: STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And if you don't need a college degree to do that. You just need the skills to do that. So stop thinking that college is the only way, because it's not the only way. And again, that's coming from me, someone who has 2 degrees. But guess what I also have? I'm a FAA certified drone pilot. Okay. And I am teaching these students in high school how to become drone pilots. So Tank says AI still needs folks to manage it. I agree. The problem is only certain folks are needed. And that's what we have to be concerned about, OG Tank, is that you have to put yourself in a position where you're not just working a job and waiting to be downsized. Maybe you need to own a company. Maybe you need to come up with different options. But I'm just saying, college is not the only option. Although I respect education and I have an education, and every day I see people who don't have know how to read and don't have critical thinking skills that they would get through being educated. I realize the benefit of education, but at the same time, we have to start preparing ourselves for the future. And speaking of the future, I want to just show you a few of the promos that I have gotten created for my company. Here's one of them. Take a look. Now, that was just short and simple. TCB Drones is the name of my company. And again, I'm starting to get into, the company is starting to get into teaching high schoolers how to be drone pilots, and we're going to get them certified. And then that way, that doesn't mean you don't have to go, well, you don't have to go to college, but you can if you want to. You can expound on that knowledge and go deeper into aviation if you want to, or if you don't, then you don't have to. Here's one more. It's only like 30 seconds. That was neat, huh? So the question becomes, does a college degree pay off? And so many times you end up owing more than you earn. But that again depends on what your focus is, what your I forgot the word. But anyway, Laverne Adekunle, she is someone who provides, or she is into AI and helps people to get started. If you have a company and you want AI to help you to manage your time better so that you don't actually have to do all the work, I would suggest, if you want to know how to contact Laverne Adekunle, she is on Facebook, and if you inbox me, I'll show you how to. I'll get you connected with her. But again, I'm a certified drone pilot. I'm a writer, a producer. I've just been somebody who's always been willing to move with the flow of things, as long as it makes sense. Just wanting to stay relevant, staying. I was talking to someone the other day, yesterday, I think, and he was talking about how his parents, you might get them a new computer or get them the latest phone, but they just mentally are not, they don't want to do it. And so you have to want to stay abreast of changes because things are happening. And if we allow ourselves to just say, oh, I'm just going to get a degree and work somebody's job and hope they keep me for 20 years, y'all, that's just not the way. You're going to find yourself over somewhere needing help, even though you got a degree. So you got to be willing to maneuver with the right people in the right industry. So if you or about to graduate, or you got relatives, or you yourself are one of those people, don't think that it's the end of the world if your Ivy League dreams don't come true. Okay, look at what's going on right now. Look at what's hot in the next 10 years, and then do that, and then you'll be prepared. So get ready and stay ready. And to find out more about the things that I care about, you can go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com. Thank you so much, and have a super